I have a drone. Actually, I've got lots of them. I love them. They allow me to take the war on terror directly to the enemy with 0 American casualties. I think it's really cool to keep track of the kill list and who we've droned and those yet to be droned. My drones have served me well. Let me count the ways. 1, they endear me to Republicans who otherwise can't stand me. Number 2, they help me to be a hawk on terror and to give me wonderful ammunition to fight any of the wackos who claim I'm soft on terror. 3, I'd even say they help me to win re-election. 4, the fewer letters I have to write to the families of dead and wounded service members, the better, and drones allow me to keep our whoa, this is not moving down the line here. To keep our service members out of harm's way. Here we go. And last but not least, 5, drones help me to prove to America that I'm not a wimpy professor. To those who worry needlessly that our use of drones is counterproductive to the war on terror, I say poppycock. Despite what birthers say, I'm a real American, and real Americans know that might makes right, especially when it's American might. It is our destiny to be the world's policeman, and we Americans know who deserves to see the business end of a drone. To all those who worry that drones kill innocent civilians, I say balderdash. George W. Bush once said, you're either with us or against us. Therefore, anyone who was with a drone-targeted enemy at the time of the strike was with the enemy and against us. This was one of the few times when W was right. In conclusion, drones help me to sleep well at night because I know in my heart that they will help us win the war on terror and help me to cement my place in history as one of America's greatest presidents. God bless America, and thanks for 4 more years.
Welcome everybody to the Waltham Public Library. This is the first in PANDA, Massachusetts forum on the NDAA and what we plan to do about it. Now, if you're anything like me, you were last year listening to the various reports of what they were doing with the NDAA in 2012 and the sections they had put in there and snuck in there and signed in on New Year's Eve. And you were probably feeling like I was, which is helpless. How can we stop this? What can we do? And I gotta tell you, I wasn't sure there was anything we could do. I racked my brains and couldn't really come up with anything. So I'm happy to say that I'm standing here a year later with a plan. There is something we can do about it. Now, it isn't very often in life when you meet people that change you, that change the course of your life and change your plans for a whole year. But that happened to me with 2 people this year. First, it happened with Dan Johnson, when I saw what he was doing at the national level with the PANDA United website and encouraging people to get active in their local states and communities.
PANDA is an abbreviation for what?
Oh, I'm sorry. PANDA is People Against the NDAA.
Ah, okay.
And United, obviously, we're all going to get together. This is the kind of issue that can unite everybody, and that's what we're hoping to do with our bill here in Massachusetts. The other person that changed the course of my life with 1 meeting, I knew after I met this person that my year wasn't going to go anything like I had thought, and that was Benjamin Solecki. Benjamin is a full-time student, I believe. He is at Brandeis University. He's also a father of 2, and a very busy guy. He's a juggler. He does it all. I don't know how he does it all, and I don't know how his wife puts up with him, but I'm very thankful that he is willing.
Me either.
I'm very thankful that he's willing to do the work he's doing, and I'm happy to help him. So anyway, we do have a bill, and I'm sure Benjamin's going to tell you all about it, 1428, House Bill 1428, and we will soon have another bill for the Senate, a mirror bill. And we have, the beauty of what we're doing is we have a lot of time to work on building a grassroots movement, because the bill isn't going to be heard for a while. So we're going to use that time. Benjamin's going to explain all the things we can be doing in the meantime to build support for the bill, so that when it does get to the House floor, it'll be hopefully passed unanimously. That's our goal. So without further ado, I am introducing to you Benjamin Solecki.
How's everybody doing?
All right.
All right. My name is Benjamin Solecki. As Rich said, I am a husband, a father of two. I am a United States Air Force veteran, and I'm the state team leader for PANDA, Massachusetts. I learned of the NDAA just this past November, leading up to the presidential election. I heard the NDAA mentioned in the debates. I said, what is that? I went online and the all-knowing Google, NDAA 2012. I was horrified. Almost immediately, I decided to take action. I said, no way, this is not gonna happen in my country. This is not the future I want for my two kids. I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son. Trial by jury goes back to the Magna Carta. It's over 800 years old. There is no way I'm gonna let this just be tossed aside while I'm here breathing. So I decided to take action immediately. I went online, I found a skeleton resolution and a skeleton template legislation for the state level. I contacted my state rep, I'm from Salem, Massachusetts, asked him if he'd introduce the bill for me. He said he would. He now brought that bill forward, and it's active on Beacon Hill. It's been assigned House Bill number 1428.
Oh, so this is a state bill, not a federal bill, okay.
Correct.
Okay.
I also introduced a resolution into my hometown of Salem. And the city council had referred that into committee. Went before them. We had about an hour meet and greet, Q&A session, comments, and they voted to pass it. And so now I'm working with the city solicitor to finalize the language before it officially is voted on and officially declared on the books in Salem, Massachusetts.
Who's your sponsor?
The sponsor of the bill is John Keenan. He is the Salem representative for the 7th Essex District in Massachusetts. He brought the bill forward by request for me.
Excellent.
When the resolution's finalized in Salem, that'll be the second city in Massachusetts that will actually have an anti-NDAA resolution on the books. And part of what we're going to be doing over the course of the next 9 months, while we're waiting for the bill to be heard in committee at the State House, is we're going to build a grassroots movement in Massachusetts to educate people, wake people up to what's going on with the NDAA. And we want to get resolutions passed in Massachusetts at the city and county level. We need to use these resolutions at the city level to leverage our cause at the state level. We need to apply pressure to the legislators. We need to show them that this matters. People care about this. And if you don't support it, we're going to vote you out of office. The Constitution does not allow Congress, the House of Representatives, the Senate, it doesn't allow them to take away your right to a trial by jury for any reason. Article 3 is clear that trial by jury is guaranteed to you in all crimes except for impeachment. It also tells us how to deal with people who turn on our country. It's called treason. We already know how to deal with people who commit treason. We don't need the NDAA to take care of people who commit treason. PANDA's fighting this on the national level. I think Dan's going to talk a little bit about activities on the national level. But here in Massachusetts, this is the ground floor of something big. And I'm glad to have everybody here to come here today to listen to us and see what we're doing and to get involved. Tell people that you know, people that you think might want to listen. If they don't want to listen, keep trying to wake them up. If you can't wake them up, find people that you can. Because every phone call, every email, every letter we write, every person that goes to the State House with us to lobby the legislature, every person that attends a rally, that comes to a meeting like this, that helps us shred the NDAA, is a step in the right direction to protect the people of Massachusetts against this. We have, right now, we're between, I think, 10 and 15 cities that would like to bring resolutions here in Massachusetts. If there's anybody here today who is interested in bringing one in your city, when we get to the part of the presentation today, we'd like you to come up and claim your city. Say, commit, yes, I'm going to bring a resolution in my city. We're going to go public with this. Never mind throwing a pebble into the ocean and seeing where the ripples go. Never mind making a splash. We're going to start a tidal wave in Massachusetts. By the time our bill gets to committee, people are going to know who PANDA is. People are going to see us walking through the halls. They're going to know, oh, they hit a lobby for 1428. There's going to be no question about that. The Bill of Rights is not up for grabs. Trial by jury is mentioned in a handful of places, all throughout the Bill of Rights. It's not a list of suggestions. It's a list of things that they cannot take away. And trial by jury just happens to be included in there, just a little. Is everybody familiar with specifically the two sections, 1021 and 1022 of the NDAA? And exactly what they do?
No.
No?
I mean, I just know generally that's the Defense Department's budget, correct?
Typically, yes.
Yeah.
The National Defense Authorization Act is normally a funding bill that funds the Department of Defense and the military. It's passed every year for the last 50 years. Normally very, very little opposition, if any. And so it's become this haystack. The kind of anything you want to pass, you just toss it in there. And nobody's going to read it because it's, 800 pages, 1,000 pages long. And it was in the 2012 fiscal year version where they included these two sections, 1021, 1022.
So that's interesting. These were not done after 9/11. These were done after Obama took office. That's very interesting.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what I will say,
Does that fund the DHS too?
typically no. I believe that goes through a different appropriation.
I think you're right.
What I will say is that everybody that was involved in this process of passing the NDAA is guilty. Democrat, Republican, the Congress, the House, the Senate, and the executive branch. They were all guilty, regardless of party. PANDA does not have a party affiliation. We don't have a party loyalty. You won't hear us use words like Democrat, Republican, left, right, conservative, liberal. We don't use them. That's for good reason. This is not a left-right, this is not a left issue or a right issue. This is a Bill of Rights issue. I don't care what you're protesting, whether it's anti-war or anti-tax. You are now considered a low-level terrorist in the eyes of the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice.
Just by protesting, right?
Just by protesting. If you like to express views that oppose or go against the views of the current administration, that guy might be suspicious. The language that's in these two sections of the NDAA is so broad. You could virtually categorize anybody you wanted to as a terrorist that would fall under these two sections. So there are two things that are critical, I think, going forward in Massachusetts. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page, because these 2 points have to be crystal clear with everybody. Number one, we're single issue focused. We're laser focused on fighting the NDAA. That's not to say we're not aware of other issues or we're not concerned with other issues. But in order to get something done and actually make some headway, we zone in and put the horse blinders on. We're fighting the NDAA and that's it. Now what that allows us to do is that allows us to bring people in to support this cause from the full spectrum. Far left, far right, indifferent, libertarian. It doesn't matter where you sit on the political scale. Turns out the trial by jury thing is actually pretty popular.
Yeah, probably.
So because it's popular, we don't use nor do we allow the use of language that could essentially divide us ideologically, issues, talking bad about a particular president or a particular representative, or a particular, maybe I shouldn't say representative, because there are some congressmen and senators who were very vocal in supporting the NDAA. So I think it's okay to point that out as a matter of fact. But we need to not make this an attack on Democrats, attack on Republicans, attack on a particular branch of government, because so far 2 out of the 3 branches are okay with the NDAA. And that's not okay with PANDA, Massachusetts.
Who would you say in Massachusetts our congresspeople are like vocally supportive of the NDAA?
Well, I would say that at the federal level, when the NDAA was passed on, I think there was only one, I believe, that actually voted in support of the NDAA.
Mickey Songus, wasn't it?
Interesting.
So it's going to be interesting going forward, but I have a sense that even at the federal level, they know this is wrong.
She justified that, she's my rep, she justified that with this convoluted argument that it really wasn't something that, where people could be arrested and, and without charges.
I did write a,
So I mean,
I don't know if I made it,
so
but I did write a little rebuttal.
when you consider that that's law passed, we're actually lucky here in this state. We have a very good delegation when, relatively speaking, to this issue, obviously.
Relatively speaking, to generalize, I'd say you're correct.
Yeah.
They did vote against this. Now we can't pinpoint and say that this is the specific reason
Right.
that they voted against the NDAA. But seeing as this is a bill that typically has widespread support,
Yep.
it certainly is a little encouraging that most of our reps did vote against it at the federal level. So I hope we get that same level of support at the state level. And after they get done passing this, or going through the budget battle as they're going through right now, we're going to be hitting the State House hard. And so we're going to have a really clear
I have
idea
a
up
feeling
front
that a
of who our
senator that
allies are.
represents Waltham might be supportive of this issue on the state level. I don't know what you've got for senatorial sponsorship.
Well, I think, you live in Waltham?
Yes, I do.
Perhaps you might like to bring a resolution in Waltham.
Okay.
And what we could do with that.
I'll tell you one thing. The Waltham city government,
Mhm.
that's going to be like climbing Mount Everest, I think. Okay?
It may not be as difficult as you want. I mean, think
No,
about that.
I'm not saying- no,
If I have a
agree.
room here
Yeah.
of the city councilmen, and you essentially say to them, if you're against trial by jury, raise your hand.
Yeah.
You should hear crickets.
Yeah.
I mean, you should hear crickets. You should see tumbleweeds rolling in the
You're
wind.
right, I know.
So I don't think this is going to be as difficult.
I just don't see our government here in Waltham as necessarily being what I call bold, I guess is about the best way I can put it. So it'll be interesting. I'd love to try that.
I'd love to speak to the councilors that vote against it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That would be very interesting.
But I was just
I think the public would like to hear about that
Since
too.
you've got a House sponsor, I know of a senator who might want to sponsor this unless you've got somebody else in mind.
Well, I want to make sure I'm clear. John Keenan brought this bill on my behalf.
Yep,
He did not sponsor it for me.
okay,
He brought it on my behalf.
I see. So he's sort of a lukewarm supporter, let's say then, or something like that.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We have to warm up and, rub shoulders and,
Sure, yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
make them feel special. I think, you want to move into shredding it up?
But, maybe before you do though, I think it would help if, I don't know how long it is, can you describe the actual parts of the NDAA
Describe the offending sections.
that
like
we're trying to nullify?
Sure.
Maybe nullify is not the right word.
Yeah,
Because
we're not really nullifying anything here. In fact, I think it was just the opposite.
Could you explain that? What you just said, can you explain that? What do you mean?
I'm not sure of the
that
question.
We're not trying to nullify?
Yeah.
Well, okay. An unconstitutional law is not a law. It's null and void from inception. So we're not asking the state of Massachusetts to nullify the law. The law is already null and void. We're asking Massachusetts to recognize the fact that it's null and void and agree to interpose between the federal government enforcement and the people of Massachusetts. We're asking the state of Massachusetts to stand up and say, no, we're going to protect the people of Massachusetts. We're not going to let you come in here and enforce these 2 sections.
So it's these 2 sections, not the whole act, is that correct?
Correct.
Constitution?
Correct.
And there's number numbers of those sections again?
Sections 1021 and 1022.
What would be the position of the Massachusetts Supreme Court on this? I mean, wouldn't the Massachusetts Supreme Court say that it's ruled that the state is not going to enforce an unconstitutional law in Massachusetts? Wouldn't that be a solution to the problem, is to have the Massachusetts Supreme Court?
In other words, take it to court.
Somebody has to disappear first. for
Yeah.
that to happen.
That's right.
Well, that was going to be my question, who has standing?
Yeah.
Nobody will know it, but I do have the question. The penalties are rather minor.
They are, I agree.
What's to stop the chief executive, i.e. the governor, from blanket pardoning law enforcement officials in the state of Massachusetts and going around the act that way?
Well, I would say, I'll address the penalties first. When we get to the point in the process where we are going to be able to amend the bill, some of the language on the penalty part is going to be changed. So we are going to apply Massachusetts general law, which essentially would be felony kidnapping, felony murder, whatever the corresponding charges are to the act that was committed.
But anything through a state court can be addressed in part, the individual pardoned by the governor or the chief executive in the jurisdiction if it happens to be a town or county executive.
Sure. I mean that's something that ultimately we don't have control over.
Well, I think we do in this way. That's why we need grassroots support in a lot of it, and that's why having this big block of time between now and when the bill is heard is very key to us. Because if we get resolutions in at least more than half the towns, and we have people up in arms about this, it makes it a lot more difficult for any politician to go against it. If it's very clear that the people are absolutely for this and on fire for it. If we don't rise up, and if there isn't a big noise, then yes, that what you're describing is a lot more likely.
Have you got a hearing date?
Not yet. They're still making up the schedule. The legislative process in Massachusetts is 2 years long.
But we know it's going to be.
I know, it's very
So
complicated. I've gotten stuff pushed through before, it's not easy.
It's not going to be this year, though.
No, I'm not surprised. What is your website?
The national website is www.pandaunite.org.
Who was the legislator who voted in favor of the NDAA? And also, this reminds me of when the ACLU got on the Patriot Act. They didn't win that, but are you asking them to come on board with you?
Well, the ACLU has come out in opposition to the NDAA.
they have.
Right. Are they working with you? Are they going to help you?
We hope they will. We're in the early stages right now of building a bipartisan coalition, or a nonpartisan coalition, I guess you could say. And we currently have the endorsement for the bill from 3 separate organizations. The Bill of Rights Defense Committee, who was instrumental in getting the resolution passed in Northampton. Also the Libertarian Association of Massachusetts. And the third is the Veterans for Peace, Smedley D. Butler Brigade, Chapter 9 out of Boston. We have others in the works. I don't know if I should kind of let the cat out of the bag.
Probably not. We
No,
do have
yeah,
others in the
probably
works,
not.
though.
Yeah, we have several others that are in process.
And one of the things that we're doing is, the reason we can't necessarily announce them all is because we're trying to keep a balance. When we get someone from the left, we wait until we have someone from the right. We want to make sure everyone knows we're not one way or the other.
Right.
So we try to announce a couple at a time.
Excellent strategy.
Yeah.
Excellent strategy, yep.
Because we know we're not partisan, and all you guys know we're not partisan.
Yeah.
But the way perception is reality. So we want to make sure that nobody can look at PANDA and say, oh, PANDA is associated heavily with this group, they must endorse them. No.
Yep.
We're a coalition builder at the grassroots to get this thing done.
Who was the legislator who voted in
Nikki
favor of
Songus.
the NDAA?
Songus, Nikki Songus.
Really?
Yes.
But now, to her defense a little bit, when she voted for it, she was not saying, yes, I agree with being able to kidnap people, essentially, federally sanctioned kidnapping, and deny them the right to a trial.